Welcome back to For the Mamas Collective Podcast, a space where we believe in the power of connection and shared experiences.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jaleesa, and we're so glad you're here for another week of honest conversation, reflection, and a little bit of vulnerability.
Yes, every episode feels like a soft place to land, but today's topic really feels like a deep breath. And I know we were kind of just talking about this, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad we're having this conversation today
Yeah.
because I need it.
Yeah.
But before we jump in, let's get started with our rose and thorn. What you got going on, Jaleesa?
Okay. I don't know. I think my rose is going to be hard to find. But no, it won't. Um, I will say this. It's just a general, although things have been weird for me the past couple weeks. I'm just kind of grateful for supernatural divine intervention. I'm gonna say that like sometimes you don't know you in your own way
Mm-hmm.
until some shit shakes up your plan and you're like, oh, that was probably not the plan and I was forcing it. So my rose is that on the other side of what feels like major inconvenience is actually something that's going to allow me to reset and get back to where I need to be.
A blessing in disguise.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, and my thorn is the things that have led me here, which is just a lot of unexpected stuff. Like I said, that didn't allow me to really stick to my plan. But I'm here making the best of it. So that's all I can say. What about you,
Yeah.
Danielle?
Well, I'm glad you're here for
Yes,
one.
thank you.
Um, and I think same. Like I the last couple of weeks have been insane.
Mhm.
And so I'm beyond grateful for just the circle I have around me,
Yeah.
my village, my community, my friends, my family, for keeping me sane in what feels
Yeah.
like just hard times.
Mhm.
I don't take that lightly, and I'm grateful for it. So, there's been a lot of challenges, but um, I will say that that's all a part of my rose. I think my thorn is it's probably the same thing it was the last time. Just there's too much,
Yeah.
and I can be a controlling person. I like to be in control. I like to know things are done a certain way. And so, speaking to my rose, it's been nice letting go of some of that
Mm.
and allowing that stress to be lifted off my shoulders by giving up the control.
Mhm.
But that all came from, some much needed conversations from friends that have let it go,
Mhm.
from Trey, who was like, "What do we got to do? Like you don't have the capacity to do it, then who's gonna do it? That's just who we need
Right.
to find. If not you, then
Yeah.
who? It's
Yeah.
fine if you don't want to do it,
Yeah.
but it's like that's why it's my rose, because like that's a
Yeah.
luxury that
Mm.
I realized I didn't always have. And so yep, just coming out
Mhm.
of those times. And I think it was good. I think it was a great shift going into Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Just to, to have this feeling of gratefulness inside of me, and to have kind of a new perspective going into the end of the year so that I can start the new year right. So,
Mhm.
yep.
Mhm. That's nice. And
Yeah.
you could flash us a little bit so we can kind of see.
Oh, as a wife, look,
She's
y'all.
married now. Trey giving her husbandly advice now.
Yeah, my sister's already. She be like, "Girl, we know you a wife. Every time we on the phone, all we can see is that ring." And I'm like, my phone. Like, what
Yeah.
do you need to do? It's just kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I did. We got married, and Jaleesa, oh, singing your high praises. Jaleesa flew down to Atlanta to be here on our special day. Um, and it was perfect. You ran that, oh my gosh. Yeah, you ran the ship. Everyone's like, who is she? Where did she come? Did she do this? And I'm like, listen,
I
if
do this.
anybody was gonna get it together, it was gonna be
I
Jaleesa.
do this.
Yeah, yep, yep. But now you and
Yeah.
Makila, y'all showed up and showed out.
Oh, for
We had
sure.
a good time. We
It
had
was
everything we
good.
needed.
Yes.
I
Yeah, I
just
said
found
me
the
and
straws
Makila
in my
was
trunk.
A team, boy. I said, Makila, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna stay with you again. We had it. It was a
Hmm.
well-oiled machine. I said, come on, look at God. Some because you can't trust everybody just because y'all was cool in high school. But it was so good. Yeah.
No,
So
no, even
yeah.
down to the music. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally could not have asked for more. And y'all already know I'll have to show, but I dried my flowers out. They're still drying,
Oh
actually, believe it
yeah.
or not. And I can't decide if I want to have them, like uh whatever they call it when they save them.
Oh, you want to press them or like?
I don't know. However they gonna say they're dry. I didn't let them fall apart. They're dry. Ying. There's still
Mm-hmm.
a couple, but I can't decide if I want to have them like saved with the pins on there, or if I
Oh.
want to take those off. Because Jaleesa brought some very special pins, making sure my daddy,
Oh
who
yeah.
transitioned in 2005, gosh, saying
Mm,
20 sounds crazy, 2005, making sure he was with us on that day,
yeah.
had me in tears.
Yeah, he made sure I was like out of nowhere, like I gotta,
Oh my,
I gotta do this. I gotta
no,
do
that's
this.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
So unexpected, but that's oh, that's what happens when you have good friends.
I got you. You know, I'm gonna cover them
Hmm.
details. I'm gonna get all in the nooks and crannies of it. Make sure everything is going on that need to be going on. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. For a
Yeah.
selected few.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, I don't have it for everybody. I don't got that kind of capacity. But
Mm-mm.
if I like you enough, you could get it. You get a good thing.
Uh,
That's for sure.
well, no, I appreciate you. I
Of
do.
course.
Um, and so I don't know. I think again, just kind of talking about gratefulness given, where we left off, maybe it's a good
Yeah.
transition.
I think so, right? For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, cuz so like last time we were talking about excuse me, Aisha Curry, but we the gist of it, right? We were ending on this theme of like letting yourself evolve, be it quietly, gracefully, and perfectly. That's where we left off, and I think this is a really good transition. And like letting yourself evolve might require some gratitude.
Yeah. It requires a lot, gratitude being, a key ingredient for sure.
Yeah.
But back to my rose and thorn, like that's something that I've been sitting with for
Mhm.
probably 2 weeks now. Yeah, because this is like the second week since we've made some of our changes.
Mhm.
Um, but what I can say is just like I feel happier, right?
Mm.
Like
Mhm.
growth, you can, yeah, it gets uncomfortable, but you can feel it. And
Yeah.
it's when you get out of your own way, like it truly is beautiful. But it can also be disorienting, right? Like
Mm.
prior to I think that's the uncomfortable part. Like prior to the
Mhm.
growth, it's like this heavy, this burdening, this chaos, this, like how do I get out
Mhm.
from under whatever this is while you're figuring it out? And then, you look up, you turn around, and you're like this beautiful butterfly, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
like I have completely evolved.
Yeah.
Um, and that was all, like you said, whether it be quietly, gracefully, imperfectly, whatever that transition looked like, it happened, and
Yep.
it's something to be grateful for. So,
Yeah.
you
So,
know,
that's what we're going to do today. I think is just sit with this, be with that feeling and that reflection. And we're just talking about gratitude and, not in the cliche, like what we're thankful for, but in a real, like, this came from out the mud. Like, this it didn't come easy. And like, it
mhm.
doesn't come easy. Grace don't come easy. Gratitude doesn't come easy. So we're just looking at it in the most human form that we can possibly see
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you say human because
it.
that is imperfect,
Mhm.
right? Like we
Mhm.
we know that. So we're not talking about social media gratitude, not your
Right.
Pinterest board, none of that. Real life gratitude here. Okay, y'all?
Mhm. Yeah, right? The kind I've had. Whew, the kind that has fallen upon me after your wedding, like 12 hours later. Uh it's like November is taking me there. It's taking me through there.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind that shows up when you're tired, you're overwhelmed, or unsure of who you're becoming, and that right there, that's it right there. When you're
Yeah.
unsure of who you're becoming, trying to be grateful for that journey of getting there, of
Yeah.
becoming, and talk about synchronicity. The word becoming, which is the title, part of the title of my book that I've been trying to finish, is finished. It's just in the stages of like, where do I put it to publish it? But
Mm-hmm.
it's finished. So I can be grateful for that. As much that went haywire this month, literally a year to the date, on the 20th, November 20th, I recorded a video. Like, when I sent it to like beta readers, sent it to y'all, sent it
Mm-hmm.
out, and I thought I would have it out by spring, didn't happen. Thought it would be out by this November, didn't happen. But what I can say that I'm grateful for is that it is completed. 1 year later, I
Right.
can call on completion and be like, all right, I did it. It's done.
And I think that's real because like that's the nitty-gritty of it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think when people think about gratitude, it's easy to picture like, a list or like, oh, let's all go around the
Yeah.
table and say one thing we're thankful for,
Yeah.
things like that. But like sometimes it's bigger than that. Sometimes it's like reframing the picture, taking a
Mm.
step back, like recalling progress over perfection.
Yeah.
I think one quote that I love is that like if you rush the process, like you won't appreciate the end state, where it's
Mm.
just like, like the joy is in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and so you have to find a way to be grateful through the good times and the bad times, the hard times and the
Yeah.
easy times.
Yeah.
But like you said, to be able to look back and be like, no, a year later, it's complete. It's not published, but I can see how far it's come,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm grateful for that
Mm-hmm.
because in a year it could have died, so much could have happened,
Yep.
but it didn't. And
Yep.
so, much to like you said, just that divine intervention, it's not about our time. Like
Mm-hmm.
our timing in this world is it's really a non-factor. I mean,
Right. Really forcing it at that point. It ain't gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
It's
Coming from
not
my
happening.
controlling self, it's like, yeah, you can make a plan, but like don't be upset when,
Mm-hmm.
there are other plans that have already been made for you. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I this is great. Let's dive in because
Yeah.
I'm ready to like get going
Get
on this
right.
gratitude piece.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it, cuz right, like, real gratitude, it isn't pretty. Like you said, it isn't perfect. Sometimes we got to be grateful for the very small things. I'm grateful I got out of bed. I'm grateful for whatever diversion it has been in my way, right? I'm grateful for being late. And I think I've said that before. Sometimes I really hate being late in the morning with Robert. But it's like, why are we instead of asking like, why am I late? Why is this happening? And I don't know what I read somewhere, but it's something like God might be keeping you from destruction
Mm-hmm.
in an essence, right? So
Yes.
sometimes, like, okay, I'm grateful for the slowness of a morning that reminds me, or even him wanting to change his clothes at 9:10 when you should have been at school 10 minutes ago. It's like, what, but maybe this is a moment that he needs, or we're something is keeping us from danger or something. So just being grateful for all things, and if it can't be that big, it could be small. Like, I'm grateful that I got these next little 5 minutes to take a breath
Mm-hmm.
and keep it pushing.
Yeah, yeah. What's so funny is I was in the grocery store over the weekend picking up a couple things, and there was a little girl. She was just smiling away. She had to be like 6, 7 months, maybe 8, I don't know.
Mm.
But she had on mixed match socks, but they came from a set that Ari had. So I'm just kind of
Mm.
in line, like, "Hi, how are you?" And we're doing the goo goo gaga. And I said, "My little girl had those socks when she was your size." And the mom was like, yeah, they don't match today. And it's, and I was like, listen, you do not have to explain that to me. I said, that baby is happy. She has
Hmm.
clothes and socks on, and she looked well fed. Like
Yeah.
that's enough. You know what I mean? I was like,
That's
you're doing a
enough.
great job, and that's so much to be grateful for. And she
Mhm.
was like, I needed that. Thank you. And I'm like,
Mhm.
but it is. And I think sometimes it can be easier, to find the good or to find like try to help other people, maybe
Mhm.
see moments where they can be a little more grateful, than it is to kind of look in the mirror and pull that out yourself. But just one tiny piece of good, like that's literally all
Mhm.
it has to be. And if you could take that from every moment,
Yeah.
it goes a long way.
Yeah, and not forcing it, right? Like I said, your interaction
Mm,
was quite natural, right? That's your nature. That's who you are. And sometimes it can be easier, like you said, to give it out, but not necessarily
mm-hmm,
trying to force it or even fake the funk. Sometimes we do have to fake the funk, or you have to stay in bed until you find it. Find it, and then keep it pressing. But and I say that to clients sometimes too, like finding gratitude or affirmation, that things that can feel fake. It's like, but
mm-hmm,
let it relate to you. Like what resonates with you, and say it till you believe it, even if you don't believe it.
mm-hmm.
Like gratitude doesn't necessarily take that much belief. You just
No.
got to be able to express it, to change the energy, the current of the energy around you. Versus saying something negative, saying something positive, whether you believe it or not, it makes a difference. It adds up eventually.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's okay. Like you don't have to like be, over the moon right now.
Mhm.
Like, you're not
Mhm.
going to be after you listen to this episode, but you can start, those building blocks, like just
Yeah.
one piece at a time. What does it look like for you? What speed works for you?
Mhm.
Where can you step back and reframe the thoughts you're having? And I love your example of like being late in the morning. I wholeheartedly believe that. And it tears me up inside when I drive past and like see an accident or something that
Mhm.
just occurred, and I'd be like, Lord, if I'd left the house any earlier, that would have been me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I get it, but it's hard in the moment. And so I think that's why
Mhm.
this conversation is important because we all do it. And
Yeah.
the world has us in a place where like we're moving fast. We're looking for that instant gratification. Like we need what's next and what's coming. But like don't we can't let our life pass us by. It's the Adam Sandler
Right.
movie, Click, and he was clicking
Oh
through
yeah.
his he was all the
Yes, it
he would
is.
just I think it's time for a reset.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, right? And I like the that what you said, like gratitude gives us space to reset. And it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
change the circumstances that much, but really that mindset might reset. And you look at your
Mm-hmm.
circumstances a little bit differently. You look at a scenario a little bit differently. You say, "Oh man, me, I know I'm sick." I'm like, "Man, okay, I might not have been able to go through some things that I had planned while I'm sick like this. That wasn't gonna work, or getting at the time feeling more sick, like that wasn't gonna work, and it was a struggle. I can sit
Mm-hmm.
in gratitude and sadness and anxiety and depression
Yeah.
and still be grateful that. And sometimes I'm not always grateful that God woke me up. But I am for my children. I don't necessarily know if I
Yeah.
always care about myself in that way. But sometimes I'm like, whew, all right, well, I don't want nobody else to be their mama, so time to put a smile on my face. Like God, like you gonna have both of them. Like what you gonna do? I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful that I get a chance to do it again,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how hard it is. I don't know if I've ever like been like, man, I don't want to live. It's been more like, oh my God, I gotta wake up to some hard shit again. I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely had those moments. And now
Yep.
it's like, well, I can't sleep. So let me practice some gratitude now. So by the time I wake up, it feels a little bit differently. You go to bed like, oh man, that was a stressful day. That was a rough day. Like, but I'll lay down and be like, my kids get on my nerve, and they're the best kids I can have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it in me to have any other type of children than the ones I got. They can only show up the way they are, because that's all I got in me. And even sometimes that's what I'm grateful for. Like, yeah, wake me up again so that I can be their mother again. Cause I ain't like how that day went. but I'm gonna try to do something different, or like we'll see. I don't know. I might wake up sad again. I might wake up beyond anxious again. But let's see. Let's figure it out. And one thing I don't like is comparing. Like I should be grateful because other people have it worse. No.
Mm,
Me as on this side of the 36, almost 37, I had to be honest. I'm going to feel every emotion I'm meant to feel as a human being. It's going to make people uncomfortable because I'm going to tell you I'm anxious. I'm going to tell you I'm sad. I'm going to tell you I'm having a panic attack. I'm going to tell you I'm struggling. And um and I don't need anyone to tell me, well, somebody has it worse than you. I don't know their
mm-hmm.
life. I know my life in some moments feels like the worst of it, even if
Yes.
it's not, right? And consciously I know that it's not, but I got to let myself feel the feeling to get through it. And I can get to
Mm-hmm.
gratitude is always accessible, and so are all these other emotions. And I might have to get
Yep.
through them so that I can reach gratitude. So sometimes that's my gratitude statement, like, all right, I'm feeling this right now. I got to be glad I'm feeling it, and I'm saying it to myself out loud so that I can move through it. When I tell you anxiety had me in a
Mm-hmm.
choke hold, and it had to be divine intervention, like, okay, well, everything's blown up now, so that isn't even a necessary avenue to traverse anymore. Now all I have for myself is gratitude. Like, man, I'm grateful that the degree of anxiety that I had didn't lead to anything else. That I just
Right.
it's gone now, and I didn't do anything. I don't know why it's gone. It just is gone, and I have to be grateful for that. And I just can't call it back. I got to do the work now to make sure it don't come back. But I also got to do
Mm-hmm.
the work in, like, I can't compare my life. I cannot. It doesn't serve me. My life is good, and it can be hard at times too. And
Yes.
that's everybody. That's the human experience.
I think you kind of, inadvertently, if that's the right word,
Yeah.
answered the next question I was going to ask you,
Mhm.
which is great, was just, like what's something it was small that you've been
Mhm.
grateful for lately. But that's so many things, right?
Yeah.
And it's but they all kind of started as a little something somewhere. So I
Yeah.
do think like things like anxiety, like it can compound.
Mhm.
If you've never dealt with anxiety, I don't wish this
You're
on you.
right.
However, I think a lot of things in life can do that. This phrase, like when it
Mhm.
rains, it pours. Life
Mhm.
very much feels like that. And so if I can go ahead and answer the question that I
Yeah.
was going to pose you because I love so much of what you said. But one thing that I've been really grateful for lately is, and I tell Trey this all the time, um, we are so similar, but very, very
Mm.
different.
Mhm.
Like it's strange.
Yeah.
And to the eye, I think a lot of people don't understand necessarily. Um, but we always kind of like talk about ourselves like puzzle pieces, or you know what I mean, like yin
Mm.
and yang. I'm like, we have the best of both worlds. Like
Mm.
the experience that I have may be something that you're lacking, and vice versa. And so,
Yeah.
like, every time we flip a coin, I'm like, it doesn't matter what happens in life. Like, we have all the answers.
Mm.
And so, just I'm grateful because we figured that out very early on in our relationship. But, now at these big ages in our 30s, and
Yeah.
we're even seeing this in our friends, but where like I don't know, like you get out of school, so much of like childhood is structured, right? Like we have our friend
Mhm.
groups because they're in class. We play extracurricular activities, whatever that looks like. You go to college, you have study groups, or you do extra things there. You have your dorm mates or roommates or whatever they're called. I didn't have any, so y'all can tell. But and then as you enter like the workforce, you kind of become siloed, right? Like unless
Yeah.
you came in with like a bunch of newbies, there's tenured staff there, and it's like, oh, well,
Mhm.
I'm too young to fit in with them. And for the first time in life, you're realizing that like adult friendships can be difficult.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we have like aging parents. And so it's just like, who are we in
Yeah.
our 30s? Like, what's happening? That's kind of where like me and like all of my friend group is at right now, where it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just trying to live life and enjoy my kids, but like, who knew all of this would be going on?
Yep.
And so I say all that to say that one thing I've been grateful for is that when we have these moments of like where anxiety is like really flooding us, we've been able to sit down and take our experience and just frame it differently. And
Mhm.
so if Trey comes to me and he says something like it's so corny, but I'd be like, sounds like your cup might be half empty, like let's talk about it and like show him how we can reframe it so
Yeah.
that what we get out is what we need to pour into
Mm.
ourselves. Because like, yeah, we can take all the negative aspects of this, but it's not going to do us any good.
Mm.
And I don't want to compare to what so and so is doing because how did this moment at work that got me frustrated, how is that going to feed the growth that I want for my career, right? Like, how
Mm.
do I use this to take myself to a next level? I don't care about the other person. So
Mhm.
I'm really grateful for that because I'm like, we have all the answers and we know this, but the only way to get them is to communicate. So it's like it
Mhm.
forces that, you see how like
Yeah.
everything's coming together
Yeah.
because now we have to communicate. But God, doesn't that make for a great relationship anyway when you can communicate well? And so it's
Mhm.
just like I'm so grateful for that because it's guiding us on this journey. And
Mm.
it's hard. If you're not 30 yet, and again, we're 36. Uh but like if you're not there yet, it's hard. It's hard. And like you said, the kids, I love them to pieces.
Mhm.
But sometimes the only way I can get through the night is with a little bit of help.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I have, something to help me do that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I say that because it's like I don't have the energy anymore.
Yes.
But like I'm grateful that I know how to go find it so that I can be present and be with them and we can enjoy each other's company. But,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
right. Yeah, but like what you're
yeah.
speaking to, right, really is which resonates with me too, right, is the reframe, the capacity to
Hmm.
reframe, to just own an experience and reframe it, knowing that, I mean, what else do I have? Either I'm gonna sit in it and it's gonna destroy me, or I'm gonna reframe it and find some alternatives to get through it, and
Hmm.
then it might get to some joy, right? Because to me, I don't always like, grateful don't mean happy. Grateful
Oh
just means
no.
grateful. Like, okay,
Right.
I'm
Like
I'm
it.
grateful. That's it. And
Yes.
sad. So what are
Yes.
we doing? Right? Like,
Yep.
I can, but is it a catalyst to enough gratitude, enough reframe? I
Hmm.
know what happy feels like, and I know I could
Yeah.
chase that, and I
Hmm.
know I could reformulate with gratitude over and over and over again. It's infinite. Like you said, like you can feel that half empty cup, and you're like, what will it take? But taking something, might not be a full dump in the cup. It might be something already in there.
No.
Like, there's nothing to pour in this cup. We got to find it in the cup and see how we can
Yep.
multiply it and
Yep. Hmm.
regenerate something that then came out. And sometimes that's all that it is, right? Just reframe it. Like you don't have to change your life. We can sit,
No.
life is beautiful as long as you're living, and it don't always feel that way. So how do we reframe it so that we get closer to the sensation of happy? Like, I don't
Right.
know what that is. The definition of it is different for everybody, but I think you know what it feels like to your heart, to your body, when you're like, oh, this feels, or contentment. I don't even know if it's happy, but just peace,
Right. Just and it's
contentment.
you said like grateful means grateful and like
Yeah.
it's so difficult I think for me to define and put a word to because like yeah, I'm grateful I made it through the moment. Whatever the
Mm-hmm.
moment was, no, the problem's not solved. Yes, there's still a shit ton of work to be done,
Yeah.
but I made it through this moment and now I can move forward. Now I
Yeah.
can take the steps necessary to, get closer to a solution. But sometimes
Yeah.
it's just realizing that, like, no, where I'm at right now, if I can reframe it or whatever I have to do to,
Mhm.
get over that hill or get out of this valley, whatever that looks like, in your situation, it's just like start there and you can put a pin in it, and
Mhm.
in that moment then you go forward. But it's back to that reset that we were talking
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean? But it's just like,
Yeah.
no, you find a moment and it's like, okay, this is where we start.
Yep. That's it.
Take off.
Yeah. And do you agree that that's what it feels like to evolve? You know that like gratitude can be one of those anchors that helps you evolve, but you got to, like you said, you got to be there and to put that pin in it so that you can just launch yourself sometimes into the next
Hmm.
thing, so that that system can grow, whatever the system is inside of you, so that you can evolve.
So, yes, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Mm.
Um, and you know, a, another example, and I want to keep it as short as I can, but you've dealt with it, right? Like having a difficult time forming adult relationships.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I mean, we know what it looks like. I had I had someone, Trey, asked me the other day, or we were just talking about it because we had like a little party at the house for the kids.
Mhm.
And he was like, everybody I talk to seems to be going through the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, like that makes sense. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't think you've ever dealt with it. He was like, if you have, I can't tell because rewind, we worked out of a coffee shop on Friday. I done invited two college students who didn't find a seat to come sit with us at the table. I done met a stranger, told her how cute her daughter was, and invited her to the craft thing at our house on Saturday. And then I done moved to another table because the sun was too hot, and made friends with like two random people. I think they were a couple. If she finds this and she's listening, I sent you a DM because it felt like a misconnection.
Yeah.
But girl, this guy was from some bumble, like backwoods town in Indiana,
Oh.
to say that, like, oh no, my father grew up in Chicago. He was from a small town called Oak Park.
Oh wow.
I said, what, girl? We went to high school with this kid's cousin, okay? He
Wow.
sent me my senior yearbook photo, and I was like, let's not do that again.
Oh wow.
Do you remember that day? It rained that day, and we went
Yep.
together,
Damn.
right?
We went together.
But I
Hmm.
say, Trey thinks it's so easy for me to make
Mm.
friendships as an adult. So he's like, well,
Mm.
I don't that space. And I was like, okay, but this goes back to us living two completely different lives. I had to deal with difficult friendships at 15. When I became a mother, it was very hard for me to find a group that I could
Mhm.
connect with and be myself with that would
Mhm.
so like
Yeah.
I kind of had to do that earlier than everybody else. So on the flip
Mhm.
side, where you guys had it easy and I had it hard, now I've got it easy and some adults are struggling. But it's only because
Yeah.
I've already lived it. Like I didn't get a free pass in life where I didn't have to deal with it. It just came at a
Right.
different time. And so when you say evolving, like yes, it's being mindful that like it's
Mhm.
sometimes you don't realize. Like I just realized when he said like you didn't deal with it. And I was like, of course I did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I had
Yeah.
never made that connection before that conversation. So
Mm.
I've been evolving this whole time and I'm grateful for it.
Mm.
And now at 36, I can see that all the work I put in years ago is paying off.
Mhm.
But so again, it's just the gratitude. Like I took being a teen mom on the chin. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like this is my life. We gonna do it. Let's go.
Right.
And and now it's paid off. But
Mm. Mhm.
it's I think to the point like when you're in it and when you're in the journey and like your book, it's just like, oh, nothing's moving, right?
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
can be just like this interrupting voice that's like, oh, it's too slow, or like, I should be doing more, I should be further by now, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
um but gratitude will help you remember that like progress is slow. Just
Mhm.
because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not growing, that you're not evolving, that things aren't moving. um
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. That's a
That was my
perfect
short-winded answer.
but that is a perfect example. And that's also another example of uh comparison, right? Not that he was comparing, but that's what we do. People can see you outside. I think it's just the nature to be not only what you go through, but what we resonate on together. In essence, is like that charisma. Like I never want to talk to anybody outside ever,
Mm-hmm.
and I could be the light in a room, and I have a heart for people, and somebody is going to come talk to me, and I'm going to engage them in conversation. They would never know. I'm like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want that interaction. It happened to me and Makila. I was like, oh, two therapists, we can't be outside together. Let's hurry up and get in the car, because this woman told us her whole life. This old lady, and as sweet as it was, we have a wedding to get to, and you are talking about what feels like World War II. Um, all right, ma'am.
I didn't know this.
Okay. Yes. I mean, my kids, you get the therapist thing. Even the field that I'm in requires engagement with others. That's not necessarily who I want to be. You know that. Rewind it back to high school. That feeling has not died in me. What's stronger is, and me and my girlfriends just talked about this, I had to accept that I have a deep desire for nurturing and relationship with women.
Yeah.
And so much of me wanting to reject people is like, I could just do it on my own. I don't really need all that. But it's like, no, girl, I do. I need to go kiki. I need to call somebody. I need to be able to, like, it has to be more than the three friends that I had. Just two of y'all left the state. You know, me and Courtney, and life is, we try to make plans and it's always crazy. So to have more people in my life, and I always was afraid too. Fear can get in the way of evolving, and in the gratitude of like, you just got to make it happen. Somebody is
Mm-hmm.
in front of you, willing to pour into you, and you have enough in you to pour into them. You can do it. Do it. And that's that
Right.
hardship of adult relationships is, damn, do I really want to go out? Do I really? Yes, I do. I do.
We do.
We
We
do.
do.
Who cares
We
about the
do.
house? I don't care how tired I am. I'm going to take a vitamin with B12 in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be ready to go out on Friday. I like
Yeah.
that day because I need the other
Yeah.
2 days to recover,
But
even
that's
just
gonna
from
help me
socializing.
be grateful, that I
Yes.
had that time for myself. Like it's
Yes. Yes. Because the adulthood is challenging. It's wildly challenging. And it's like, why is did I not know this? Like, was this the thing I was excited to get to? Because
right.
what all these
I would have
details are
napped a little
different.
longer.
Yeah.
Like
I would have went
I'm
outside and
convinced.
played.
Rode my bike until
Yeah.
I wouldn't have come home early before the street lights. Like I would have like
Right.
legit stayed out. Yeah.
Yep.
No, nobody
Yeah.
nobody told us this.
Nobody told us this. You got to push past it. You got to be grateful. Like, man, my knee hurt, but you know what? I can go sit down and have some dinner. I can go and do this thing. I can be grateful for like that spirit that's on me. That's like, girl, you're not meant to not talk to people. So get over that.
Hmm.
Somebody's going to come across your path. But had I not had that natural inclination in me, I wouldn't have this other friend group that I do have, where I'm like, I'm gonna just be me. And like I said,
Hmm.
I'm totally authentic. At this age, you got to match this what I got going on, cuz actually I prefer you to be better. For me to see you as like, oh, I like that. You are a notch above. I don't want to be the best, the smartest, the nothing in the room. Because
Hmm.
what am I learning? What am I getting out of that? Nothing. And so I'm grateful for grateful for, like, I talk to myself all the time. I don't need to do that
Nothing.
with company. I want to have some people in my life that like make me strive for, better. And like, oh, I see how she moved for herself. I love that. Is that something I can apply to me? Like being grateful that although there's a challenge in adult friendships, there's also a beauty in the maturity of the people if you pick the right people. That thing, it's like,
Yes.
oh, I just love how these females move. I love it because it gives me a spark that my 15-year-old self don't couldn't have understood.
Well, yes, and I think that's what, like, when we talk about gratitude, and we can move into kind of the next segment here,
Mm,
which is like in relationships or
mm-hmm.
friendships. Um, that is the best thing about adult friendships is
Yep.
that when you choose the right group, you know you're there
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't feel like work, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like it
Oh
feels
yeah.
like you're learning, and there's enough grace and space
Mm,
to do so. So it's not, before it'd be like, yeah, we got to school and it was like, oh, well, you didn't call me last night. What were you doing? Oh, well, I was talking to so and so. Well, y'all didn't add me to you know what I mean? Like,
right.
it's just
Yes.
kind of
I'm
like
like,
you had to
oh.
always be there for everybody, or somebody felt away and their
Yes.
feelings were hurt. And now it's just like, no, we're in
Mm-hmm.
our 30s, we're in our 40s. Like, we got the kids. Like, please don't, take my silence as disrespect, or like, like I'll get back to you when I can, whatever that looks like. But I'm grateful that wherever I'm at or wherever my friends are at, that we can still see each other and know, like, okay, no, we've built this foundation. I
Mm-hmm.
know you're not ignoring me. I know I didn't do
Mm-hmm.
anything to offend you. I
Right.
understand that life gets busy, it gets hectic, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that if it was an emergency, I should have called 911. Why was I
Yeah.
texting you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it just it doesn't, but like that is that is key. And I think so many people kind of get hung up on like, well, how much am I going to have to pour into a new friendship to build it to be, what I know a good friendship to be?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is, as an adult, not much.
It don't
Not
take
much.
much.
Like I would think it takes a little less. You can just
Yes.
go and be yourself and let them receive you, and you receive them how they come. And before you know it, you've got this situation where
Mm-hmm.
everybody's fulfilling a need, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like hard work. Maybe it is work. I'm
Right.
not gonna say it's not work, but like it's not hard. It can be
No.
enjoyable.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. It's not a take, right? It's not the same type of effort. It's because we're not doing it to be liked. I'm
mm-mm.
showing up. I'm doing this. I know because I want you to
I
like
am who
me.
I am.
I don't want to lose your friendship. No. Only people I worried about losing is my kid. I don't care about nobody else, and they ain't got to like me. Y'all don't got to like me, but you damn sure gonna love me for all I do for you. But I certainly, and I think there's a pressure off. So for people who may be struggling in making adult friendships and holding gratitude for being alone with yourself right now, there's less pressure in the right relationships, whether it's family or friends. Because sometimes you gotta let some people
Hmm.
go. Like that's too much pressure. Or maybe there's a family
Yeah.
member that you don't usually typically talk to or resonate with, and you can. But there's so much to grow from when you don't have to have the pressure of friendship. Like, I okay, I'll see you when I see you, or like, yeah, let's get together, let's make it happen, let's put a little bit of energy and effort into it. And to me, this
Hmm.
flows into um the other half of this, which is like gratitude for self.
Yeah.
To be at a place like in adulthood, I need you to love yourself. Cause I love me, and that takes a lot of work to love me. Love yourself.
Love
What
yourself.
right? What MJ say? Love yourself, if nothing else, because then that's the beauty of the adult friendship as well. You find people that love themselves enough to be good to you and everybody else in their life. Because I have nothing to prove, I love me so much. Well, this can be whatever it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's good beyond that, and that's, to me, that's one of the biggest things to hold gratitude for, is like, if you reach a point of self-love, everything flows from that. And so we can have gratitude for finding that. If you don't know where to start, maybe it's there. They're like, maybe you're not in relationship with a lot of people right now because that's not the time. It's not the time. It's not the journey. It's not the thing to compare yourself to. You and
Mm-hmm.
I are talking about experiences that are outcomes of the journey of self-love, to like, I have to find me. Okay, rejection
Oh
and
yeah.
hit me a long time ago. The fear of it, the abandonment, the moving past myself just for somebody else, that's gone. I've been
Mm-hmm.
operating in the journey of self-love for years, and relationships come, out of that don't feel like hard work. They work. It's
Yeah.
work, but it's not hard.
And you know what? I love that you said that because it's it's so true. Um, and I hate to go back to the two sides of the coin, but I find myself saying that a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can meet you where you're at with a place of understanding
Yeah.
because I've lived it, because I've done that,
Mm-hmm.
because I know, what this looks like for me.
Yeah.
And I know how difficult it was. I would never sit here and tell anybody that, like, I know exactly what you feel like, but I know, some of the things that I
Mm-hmm.
had to carry and that I had to hold and deal with, how hard they were. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to just be a little more understanding to the next
Mm-hmm.
person, a little less judgmental. And now,
Mm-hmm.
for anybody listening who knows me, I'm not talking about my little jokey jokes. I'm still
Right.
gonna have a good joke. Um, However, I'm talking about like close friends, family, my husband, my children, but
Yeah.
like really that deep understanding that good connections kind of,
Mm.
are built on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you have to. I mean, I've found, I know you have, but just gratitude kind of in our own resilience.
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful that I was made the way I was, that my life
Mm-hmm.
trajectory has been what it was. If I could
Mm-hmm.
go back, I wouldn't change one piece of it. Um, at all because
Mm-hmm.
it's made me who I am today, and that's enough.
Oh, for
So,
sure, right? I'm thankful for the confidence that you have to build in it, and the self-compassion, the empathy, like I said,
mhm.
anything that I can give to another person. Although I'm probably harder on myself than anybody else, I still give it to me first. It's just
Yeah.
easy to give it out, but I'm certainly going to give it to me first. So any experience of me that you're getting, oh, please believe I've learned to give it to me
Yeah.
first so that I can do that. And and that's what we were
Mhm.
talking about at the top, right? That struggle that comes with it. If this is how I'm going to learn the lesson, this is how I'm going to learn it. This is how life is going to flow, because there's so many possibilities. And I think gratitude opens us up. The more we flow in it, the path can change as you're walking on it. Your purpose may never change, but the path to get to it, it could change for better or for worse. How we're thinking and how we're
Mhm.
feeling about self, more
Yep.
importantly, not about any other external factor, but how you feel about yourself is what helps you navigate on your path. And it could change your course. The sea can be smooth or it can be choppy.
Yep.
So, accepting that and being in that, I think offering that self gratitude, not just thankfulness for things outside of self, but the life that you've led up to. Like, we done made it almost 37 years. That's a blessing. Like, not even just to be here,
Yeah.
but like, wow, okay, I made it this far. Let's see what else I got. Because now I'm conscious of it. I have more years of conscious living ahead of me, because childhood is childhood. But now I have so much more control over these next decades of life.
Yes. I mean, I think that's all. And I think, if we got anywhere close to wrapping it up, it's celebrate the small wins. Like
Absolutely.
we don't do it enough,
Yeah.
and we need to, and we should, and we
Yes.
should, I've found myself trying to even help the children do it more
Mhm.
because it's
Mhm.
like this is very much something that I'm still learning,
Mhm.
but y'all can learn with me, While I'm
Absolutely.
growing, you can grow, and we can all do it together, but we have to celebrate the small ones. So
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. And I think that's, if we want to leave them with something or just to consider, like, how does that look to celebrate small wins? I would say this, asking yourself, like, what's one thing you're proud of in this season as this year is coming to an end, as we're,
Mm.
you may be listening to this around the holiday, probably not on Thanksgiving, I ain't gonna lie, but it's still time to be grateful, through the new year, but like really asking yourself, like, what's one thing you're proud of yourself, for this season.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's close with something grounding. What do we have for them, Jaleesa?
Okay, we could do that. All right. Wherever you're listening, just kind of get in your seat, get familiar with it, feel your bottom, feel your feet, feel your arms, your legs, your back. Take a second and find something that you might be grateful for in this moment and just kind of experience that. And it might just be the sensation of living, your body, your breath. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but just wherever you're listening, take a second, take a breath, inhale something that you could be grateful
Hmm.
for, and exhale whatever you need to exhale.
Right. And it doesn't have to be deep at all. It just has
No,
to be real. And there's
that's
no
it.
right or wrong answers here either. Like
Yeah,
literally.
that's it. That's all. You can inhale something that's joyful today, something that felt a little easier today, something you appreciate today. You might be able to appreciate listening to us while you're in traffic that's driving you crazy, whatever it is, or you're at work listening and maybe this shifts your mindset a little bit. But it doesn't have to be any of that. You could be grateful. Hopefully, you get to listen on a day that's sunny. It's not that sunny today over here in Chicago, but I'm grateful for
Here
the tree
either.
I can see. I can see a tree out my window. I'm grateful for that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
what I love about this, like you said, like they could be listening anywhere, but like you don't need a journal. You don't
Mm-mm.
need a perfect morning routine. Moms,
Mm-mm.
me, you,
Yeah. Yep.
like we don't
No.
need it. We don't need, just so many, we don't really need anything to practice gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be present.
That's
And
it.
if we can start there,
Yeah. You cooking with gas.
yeah,
That's it.
hello.
Yeah, so here's to being grateful for what we have, who we are, and who we're becoming.
Mhm. Oh yeah. And I mean, I'll say it, but like one thing I'm grateful for today is all of you. Like I'm grateful that
Yeah.
I'm here and that I can do this and that you will listen to it. So, you
Yes.
know, with that said, we'll see y'all in a couple weeks.
Yep.
And what they need to do, all the social media
Woo.
things.
Do all the social media things. I ain't even on social media right now because I'm grateful for knowing how to give myself a break. But I'm gonna get back
Amen.
on so I can repost. But then I'm gonna be back off. But y'all stay on and do all the social media things. And if you need to get off, do get off after you do the social media things. Like, subscribe, share, follow,
Share it with
share
a
it with a
friend.
friend.
Yes.
Hey, I might be off Instagram, but I still got YouTube. So yeah, y'all might still have YouTube because this is no November. So I know a lot of people take some off their plate, whether
Really?
it's no drinking, no social media. It's kind of like a little fasting season for some people.
Oh,
So a
nobody
lot of
told
people,
me.
yeah, a lot of people get off social media around this time. But I know like a lot of us, we keep TikTok. So we ain't on TikTok, but you can follow TikTok until we get videos up there. You could already be there, and YouTube. So get on and just listen. We're grateful for your time and your energy and your willingness to be a part of the collective.
Yes.
And for all the people that you're going to eventually share it with, for all the people that get it, those who get it.
Yeah. And we're grateful for that.
Yes, we are. All right, y'all. So
All
we'll
right.
see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.